2-minute Photoshop with Kent Conklin. Here we go.
Hey everyone, I'm Kent Conklin, and today we're taking a look at reducing the depth of field in an image. As always, we're going to cruise through these tricks fairly quickly, so feel free to pause or rewind the podcast if we're going too fast. And remember, always work on a copy of the image, not the original. And now, on with the trick. Hey everyone, today we're taking a look at how to take an image and blur the image background while keeping your foreground subject sharp. This will decrease the depth of field in your image, and it's a great trick to use on portraits or any other image where you really want your subject to stand out from the background. So to get started, open up an image in Photoshop. Images with a distinct foreground subject will work better than other images. Duplicate your image layer by dragging the layer in the Layers palette to the Sticky Note button at the bottom of the palette. Extract your foreground subject in the copied layer by using the Extract option from the Filter menu. For more information on extracting, see our show number 3 from our Archives section on the website. When you have your foreground extracted, select the original image layer in the Layers palette. Then hold down the Command key on a Mac or the Control key on a PC and click the layer thumbnail in the Layers palette of the extracted image. This will load a selection that just contains the contents of the extracted layer. Now hide the extracted layer by clicking on the eye icon just to the left of the layer in the Layers palette. Check to make sure your original layer isn't locked in the Layers palette. If the layer is locked, you will see a little lock icon to the right of the layer name in the Layers palette. If your layer is locked, simply double-click it in the Layers palette and hit OK when a new dialog box opens up. Now, with your unlocked original layer still selected in the Layers palette, hit the Delete key on a Mac or the Backspace key on a PC. This should delete the subject in your original image layer. Deselect your current selection by hitting the Command and D keys on a Mac or the Control and D keys on a PC. Then select your Clone Stamp tool from the Tools palette. This tool should look like a little rubber stamper and is located on the left-hand side of the tool palette, not quite halfway down. Now use the Clone tool to fill in the hole that we just deleted. While it seems pointless to fill a hole that's going to be covered up by our top layer, don't skip this step. If you leave this hole empty, when we blur the background, the empty pixels will blur outwards, making a glow effect around your foreground subject. This glow effect looks very unnatural. If you aren't familiar with the Clone Stamp tool, it works by copying a part of your image into another spot of your image. So to fill the hole, select a nice soft brush, then set where in your image you want to copy from. You do this by holding down the Option key on a Mac or the Alt key on a PC, then clicking where you want the tool to sample from. The best place to sample from are the places that have a similar color and texture to what you want to fill in. These spots are usually located very close to what you want to fill. When you have a good sample point selected, release the Option or Alt key and paint in your hole. You'll probably have to select multiple sample spots and paint inwards to fill your hole. Don't worry if this fill-in doesn't look perfect. It's going to get blurred anyway. Now blur the background layer by going to the Filter menu and selecting the blur option. Then either the Gaussian blur or lens blur option. A lens blur will look a lot more natural, but will take longer and may not be available on older versions of Photoshop. Set blur settings that look good to you for your image and hit OK. Now click the eye icon next to your extracted layer again to re-show the extracted object. Now you have a decreased depth of field. For an even more realistic look, you can apply a blur map in the lens blur dialog to simulate different amounts of blur based on distance. You can also try creating a gradated selection with the quick mask mode and the gradient tool, then blurring the background layer for a similar depth blur effect. Okay, that's it for this week's show, but make sure to tune in next week for another great show. Also, make sure to stop by our website to see our listener poll and user wiki. If you have a question about Photoshop, or if you have a topic you'd like to see covered on the show, send me an email at kent@2minutetricks.com. Or you can leave a comment on our website. You can find our website at 2minutetricks.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Check out this show and more great photography podcasts at photocastnetwork.com. photocastnetwork.com